Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
I'm Jordan.
Hey.
Hey, man. You mad?
Hey.
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Oh, who's this cool guy?
What are you doing?
I like him a lot more.
That's my guy right there.
I'm his guy.
That's my freaking guy. That's this is how my old neighbor Bruce talked.
For real?
Boys will be boys.
That is really cool.
He did, and he said, get on my motorcycle.
Are they still making them?
Guys like that?
Yeah.
I think they died off.
They wrapped it up a little
There was
bit.
like a, I feel like some sort of DNA, like anomaly.
We lost that phenotype. That
yeah,
mutant.
Unfortunately it died off.
Like, it was from like having asbestos in the drinking water or something.
It is cool that like every now and again we like create like a specimen.
Yeah, new bloke.
Like we got Gout now. What? You know about Gout? He's this kid from Australia. He's breaking all of Usain Bolt's records.
That's so rude.
He's like 16 or he's 18 now. He's 18 now. But he's like breaking every record and it's crazy.
Oh my God. He was born in 2007.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It does feel sometimes like if you are like a previous record holder and you just like blew everyone's mind, you were so incredible, and then someone else comes along and does it, you can't be resentful. Because like, well, that kind of is what I did.
Where does family immigrate from? Because his name's supposed to be like Guat, but when they immigrated to Australia, they like typed it wrong at whatever their Ellis Island equivalent is, and South Sudan. And see, look, it was misspelled when by officials when his parents fled Sudan. It's like, well. What? And now they were like trying to change it because it's like got the disease association.
They misspelled it twice. Like while writing it, they screwed it up twice in a row.
Transliteration from Arabic. But anyway, I mean, shout out to this kid. He's killing the game.
It's got to feel so weird to have. Like, be trying to avoid protagonist syndrome, but you are the protagonist. Like,
it's kind of cool. It's a little bit like I saw a video of Aisha Speed jumping with like Olympians, and they were all like pissed off that he could jump as high as he could.
Like that gift given to that. That's truly like if Peter Parker just like went into esports or something.
Yeah.
No, you have great power. You need to do great responsibility. Pass.
Nah, I'd rather not.
I'm doing kick.
I'd rather be internationally known.
Is he on Twitch or is he a kick boy?
He's on YouTube.
Taste.
His name in English is He Shows Speed.
Yeah, man of speed, man of swift.
It is funny that this guy is like the new fastest kid in the world, and then I Show Speed is like. He never said he was fast, but he did say he showed speed.
He shows,
and he often does show speed, which I love that he keeps in the name.
The only time I ever see Speed anymore is him embarrassing athletes, and I don't know what are his streams. Like, is it only that
his streams of late? I don't know what he's up to this second, but he was doing like Speed goes to Africa, and then he does this he like goes through all these cities,
humiliates,
and he's doing this like
athlete.
world tour of like, and I thought it was incredible because it's just like. The amount of planning, like thinking about getting streaming quality internet
anywhere,
everywhere. Yeah, wild.
I'm pretty sure he was just in WrestleMania.
That tracks.
He traveled all the way to the nation of WrestleMania.
I Show Speed smashes Logan Paul through a table after LA Knight Usos get the win.
I heard about this, but I haven't seen it. It's a clip of Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War.
The local clown, Pete Hegseth.
Which there's people like calling him out on r/military, which is awesome.
Well, yeah,
Am I the only veteran that recognizes this guy's personality?
He's an army weeb. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
he was in the military.
He was in the military, but This guy on the r/military, who's a real one apparently, he's like, let's unpack this. He's an infantry officer, but he didn't complete Ranger School, Airborne School, or Air Assault School. And he was assigned to the 101st. Dude, the taxpayer cost of rebranding the Department of Defense to the Department of War.
Crazy. The
Department of Defense to the Department of Offense.
It's like, are we the baddies kind of mindset? Like, we put a skull instead of the eagle, and then we put a sniper rifle scope that's aiming at an innocent person.
I guess it's in many ways just more transparent because it's not like it's like I'm defending against you while you're like doing regime change.
And you're like, what? Ow! Stop defending at me.
On guard, I'm defending. Ow! Stop poking me with your sword.
So the prayer is CSAR 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon thee. And amen.
My brother.
Now this guy is a highly religious and devout guy, so presumably anything he's going to be quoting it comes from a reliable source, and it appears that people within the military told him about their special prayer.
Well, that's the extra fucked up thing, is that people in the military are seeing themselves as Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction. Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction is a
he's radical.
assassin.
He's an assassin, but he's also like a political radical. He's not an army guy. That's
No.
like not. It's like cops that have the Punisher logo.
Exactly.
Like he's not into the stuff you're into, man.
He even says in this clip, I know this prayer because it's badass and it makes people scared before I kill them.
And it's famously embellished. Of this, what's like a full minute speech, a couple of lines are from the Bible. It's a script written by a loser, but it's not. It's just childish, dude.
We may not be able to show this, but if we can, let's.
At least for my own enrichment.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in a minute.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Maybe history's most annoying man, by the way.
Yeah.
I watched his Black Scent interview again, and it made my skin crawl.
So if he had sent me something that I plug into my computer, I don't know if I would have ever heard it. All right, hey, download this. I don't know how to do that. All right, so
it is so
Speaking
surreal.
of cringy,
He makes me.
it's
You know, I don't know
hard
nothing about
to watch
computers.
him.
Yeah, I'm like a black guy.
I'm like a black guy the way I don't know nothing.
Dude, I'm not a brother cousin.
I should take a shot every time Jordan says brother cousin.
Have tried to listen to him talk before. Like someone's like, oh, he talks about this movie you really like and sends me something. And I'm like, I can't. Like
Unbearable.
30 seconds in, it's very hard to listen to him without just dying inside.
He has loud cousin energy. It's like not a comfortable kind of individual to be around.
It's like
That being said, he writes great speeches for political figures.
He's very helpful for the czars of battle or whatever the department is.
The Lords of Vengeance.
The cabal.
the Christmas Avengers.
Yeah,
so
that's
fucking-
fucked up. It's fucked up that he's essentially quoting our military, and our military is like, we get excited to kill people, and we say this little
And we say our little speech from a movie we
It's
like.
not a
where
prayer.
We
It's a
only
speech.
the only thing we think about is the fun. It's like it's like one of the most quoted. Like the part before that speech is the most quoted thing from.
It's on
like,
mugs.
Of Pulp Fiction. It's like English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
I always connected with that quote, which is presumably from the Bible, I believe.
Yeah.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like? I
What
think
is
is one of the-
Marcellus Wallace? It was in
brother.
Marcellus 1314.
I heard speculation that like somebody within his PR team is like fucking with him and like doing that on purpose. But I think people are underestimating how few people have like how many people espouse the values of the Bible and have not read it, but also who are just media broken.
Yeah.
Like their brains are like poisoned by the media that's available to them. It's Clavicular doing the American Psycho opening like because it's cool.
because it's
Yeah.
cool.
The guy that's cool.
Well, it's like it's optics only.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think we undersell how much that matters to so many.
It's like how it matters to us when we're like 14.
Yeah.
Like before you kind of like have
Hell
values
yeah.
or something, and you're just like, I'll just quote a stand-up special I saw. That will be my joke that I'm doing. I don't understand it, but that's what the comedy is.
That's how I got started.
It's Michael Scott doing the Chris Rock stand-up, but
God, he was so good at
then
that.
running our country, right?
Yeah, and then getting slapped. Did you see that? Chris, he got friggin' slapped. Did you see that?
Again?
Oh, Chris Rock.
Mr. President.
I thought you meant Michael Scott.
Oh, Will Smith wound up his
my
arm
God.
until there was like a little bit of steam coming out of his head. He hit him in the chin and it flew off and
Talk
into the
about
screen.
kind of embarrassing. Everyone was like, oh, Judd Apatow, oh, he could have killed him.
That was
blah, blah.
very
It's
funny.
like, no, it's just kind of embarrassing for Will Smith.
Yep.
It's
He
like,
could have.
oh, why are you acting this?
He
way?
could have
Act
died.
Out and Act Out, where it's Stephen Colbert as Will Smith and Steve Carell as Michael Scott, or as Michael Scott as Chris Rock,
That could be
and
pretty-
then they're doing it because they're both correspondents of the Daily Show,
and it's one must dominate.
and one must dominate.
One must find strength. Ooh, kind of Colbert kind of mogged by John Oliver in retrospect. Long term mogged a little bit. Content mogged.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Showmax.
Colbert's interesting. I think he like won back some edge with when like the Trump beef happened.
Yeah.
I certainly find Colbert like a better comic. Like I think he's funnier, but there is a.
I think he's a good interviewer.
Unfortunately, I do think it poisons your legacy a little bit to do any late night at all. But that's.
But also, I just
unavoidable.
think he like, you have to remember he is like devoutly Catholic.
Yeah,
And he just has like some bad, like old man opinions that bum me out.
Like loving
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
I really didn't like his Zoran interview.
Yeah.
Though
He quoted Ezekiel 5:15.
he
It's 2517.
it's Marcellus Wallace 6'7". Of course. I am interested to see his Lord of the Rings movies writing.
Yeah.
I missed that entirely. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah, he's like he likened it to, and I do respect this. I think he likened it to when Bill Hader left SNL and he wrote for South Park for a season.
That makes sense. I can get
And
it.
I'm like, it's just like work on something that you don't do it for the prestige, you don't do it for the money. Like I think it's funny because Colbert, like he's got like a 68% hit rate with me, where like most of the time, and then he goes into like super Catholic mode, or like some of the old man kind of sensibilities come out, and I'm like, you got to chill on this.
that was simmering. I forgot almost for a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Pete Holmes a little bit, especially these days. He's kind of
I haven't
regressed.
tapped in. Oh,
He's
has
a
he?
little bit more trad now.
Oh, shit.
At least in his phrasing, he's gone from like I'm purely spiritual with no associations, kind of all the way around again to like a little bit more reverence. But hey, you do you, Pete. He's kind of got Tucker's laugh. The DLC that Tucker Carlson got, the new laugh that he
Yeah.
chose to start doing. He's so personable now or whatever.
Speaking of personability,
Oh, yeah. Can you make things? Sometimes I don't like stuff, but then I
You
get
know what?
tricked.
One thing that I didn't like, and I was like, we shouldn't do this anymore, is prediction markets. But then,
well, the reason I don't like prediction markets is because there's so many baddies out there that don't really have prediction markets being marketed to them. Like
Yeah.
they're oft forgotten about.
I'm
Friends that do
predicting that they're gonna market to baddies.
Market.
Another thing I loved them. It's just at Red Fair, but the drunkest woman in the world came up to us, started talking about how like we needed to like get into erotic sock play. They were really interested in that. They talked to us about that quite a bit. Couldn't track anything they were saying. She asked if I was in the military. I immediately said yes.
This is your dream.
Before my brain went, they were like, "You're in the military." I went, "Mm-hmm. Yep."
Yeah,
I was in the Army police. And then
the British one. I was in the British Army Police.
Yeah, any follow-up questions you have? Sorry, it's the
No,
British
you don't
one.
know it's the British one.
But they came up to talk about that, and then I'm not kidding you. They went like, "I have to tell you, you have to start doing this. I just learned about this. We all need to start doing this," and just did the clock it for like a really long
oh my
time.
God.
I have a question about the clock it. Middle finger, index.
I feel like people do it with index,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it
but
depends
I feel like
on what
sometimes
your
they do it with
nails-
the middle.
Index
Which
feels more
nail you
comfortable.
wanna-
I feel like I've seen it with both, but I actually don't know.
Con. Right? Remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's from Chainsaw Man. Aki. He's
Show me the thing.
okay. So there's Kalshi and Polymarket are like the two big prediction market
They're
companies.
they're the Coke and Pepsi of betting on everything and anything.
And they are also rotting society the way that Coke and Pepsi rot your teeth. So
Whoa,
Nice.
bars?
Kalshi has, is it Kalshi Girlies?
No way.
No.
Kalshi
Kalshi
girls.
Girls.
Kalshi girls.
Oh, way.
I was at
way
Kalshi
better.
Girlies is like the when Mamala made her like HQ 67 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they immediately were like rebranded it and it was like 68.
Huge upset as Governor Gavin Newsom replaces social media
I had a
manager.
gasm when you were talking about Gavin.
Do you think social media? Oh, he should get the Rizzler to do his social media management.
Oh,
Or
Lord.
Baby Gronk.
And
So
Poly
happy
Market
birthday,
has
Riz.
Poly Baddies, and both of these accounts are just like psyops to get gals, to get girl bosses
So
into prediction markets.
for those who aren't familiar, we were talking about John Oliver earlier because we planned this episode and then last night John Oliver last week tonight had an episode about prediction markets. So that's a good place to go for like the very basics. But
yeah, I wonder where he got that idea.
the way that the way that these prediction markets work is they've essentially found a legal loophole to do betting on everything. And this is a thing that has actually been written about for decades. It's written about, I think it was first coined in a book called The Wisdom of Crowds, that it was like merely a economic hypothetical at the time. And there were kind of pet prediction markets that existed. There's also the CFTC, which is meant to prevent this stuff from happening, but it's not enforced by the CFTC. Because one, the CFTC isn't properly staffed for this, and then also Donald Trump Jr. is on the board of both companies
yeah.
why would that be related to
for fun,
But like, why would that change?
because he's like
anything?
an economic genius.
But he's
It's really funny.
helping. I would think, right?
In that last week tonight video, you can watch it on YouTube. They show a clip from an interview where the CEO of Kalshi, I think, is being asked why is he a consultant? Why is Donald Trump Jr. a consultant?
We have a lot of consultants.
And he just says, we have a lot of consultants. And they're like, okay, but what does
Not
he
natural.
do? Like,
Do you pay him? And I mean, we have a lot of consultants, so.
yes, and one of them is Donald Trump Jr. And so I asked a question about it.
And we have a lot of consultants.
Of course.
though. It does remind me
The
of
gambit.
It reminds me of when someone doesn't want to lie under oath and
Yeah.
then they keep answering a sideways question.
Asked and answered.
Yeah, and it's like, bro,
No
we know
comment.
what the optics of this are worse than probably being straight up, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but well, it's
You just
'cause
look
he's
like a
the
little
president's
weenie loser.
son.
Also the Truth social company, parent company is getting into prediction markets as well. What is the name of chief the Department of Defense guy, Henry Kissinger? Remember, I don't know if you guys remember this. Henry Kissinger was on the board of Theranos.
oh my
What the
God,
heck?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's fun.
He's dead as a doornail right now, right?
Yeah, no,
Now
yes.
he is.
He would have loved Kalshi.
He would have loved it, dude. He would have
Right
loved
before-
betting on the outcome of war.
He saw Chris Rock get slapped and it killed him from shock.
But so, it's like, is this just for boys? That's my question.
Oh yeah. So the other thing about this is that while you can bet on whether or not it's going to be sunny in New York today, you can bet on the words that someone's going to say in a press conference. You can bet on who's going to win elections and on the outcome of military conflicts in Ukraine, let's say, or whether or not we're going to abduct Nicolas Maduro. All these things are bettable. All these things have insiders. They all seem like a way to extract money from the everyman who thinks that they're playing a fair numbers game. But the most volume for the prediction markets still happens in the sports betting space, and they run ads in the sports betting space. And anyone that says sports betting has been heavily legislated for its entire history, and previously most of it was happening in Vegas and stuff. But
Because
we
the
started-
predatory market that can capitalize on people is
yeah, even DraftKings and shit operate as a gambling, sports gambling, and so they are limited in where they can operate. And so here Kalshi and Polymarket come in with their little loophole where
V-Bucks, essentially.
Where they run ads where they say like the only legal sports betting in all 50 states. But then
they can say it.
Well, so that's the thing. So John Oliver calls this out in his piece where he talks about how they're talking out of both ends of their mouth because they'll run ads where they say they're betting, and then they will then clarify that they mean betting in the sense that any financial investment is a bet.
Touche. The gambit. The king's gambit.
So I don't know if you've heard, but like our economy's in the toilet. No one can get a job. And
the gas is worth more than ever. Doesn't that mean it's going well? It's like the biggest number. So
the gas in my tank has never been worth more.
If I need to resell this car, it's going to be full of great gas.
Yeah, I got to sell this gas, dude, while the getting's good.
It keeps going down on my way to go sell it.
Oh, my God. I mean, and that just makes things better.
That helps.
It feels, and I'm not an expert, it absolutely feels like I'm not even close to an expert. I'm not even an amateur. I'm like a know nothing nobody, but
yeah, we're nothing of all trades on this.
To me, though, it does feel like every time I look at what experts are saying, the economy is being held up with like holograms and fake graphs and
a wink and a nod and an elbow
and hype. I learned more about the thing that we talked about last week with Allbirds, right?
Yeah.
So that Allbirds situation is actually even darker than you would imagine in terms of the state of our economy. So the news last week was that Allbirds rebranded to AI Compute and their stock rose 600%, right? So
versus its former business position as a
selling bad shoes,
selling bad sneakers to tech workers.
And so what actually happened is that they have an investor who is hedging with like multiple companies where he's doing these deals that are like, I'm going to promise you, or I'm going to offer you $50 million. You get $5 million up front and I can pull away the other $45 million unless certain conditions are met. And then I get priority option to buy at a certain stock price.
Oh,
so essentially he's investing in like 10 different companies, seeing what pops, and then covering the spread essentially on the rest of the investments. And so it really feels like a market that runs on hype. But the only problem is it's a male-dominated field, baby. Too many men in this betting space. So too much of the Kalshi and Polymarket transaction volume is happening with men and sports betting. So the solution is to stop gambling. What's that? Sorry, no, get women into gambling.
Chicks. Yes, dude.
Yeah, we got to get chicks in.
We're kind of a progressive show. I don't want to speak for everyone. I think broads are just as cool as the boys. I think these chicks are just as good as the fellas, frankly.
It's like, they're
just like a smaller boy. You know what I mean?
It's like in the 90s when it was like, oh, Gillette only makes razors for boys. I can't use that. It's blue.
I got a pink one.
A razor just for me?
Yeah, but it's softer.
And
just
then like you
pink?
see like dollar signs in my eyes as I hand you the chic leg razor for ladies' legs.
The prettifier.
But now we all know. We've all learned and grown. And it's girl power.
To the top, baby.
Let's girl boss this.
They went to college. They got more knowledge.
So let's watch some of this content.
Women have been making a little more money on the dollar these days, and it's time to lose it all to the slots, baby.
They've been getting a little smug, frankly. I think it's time we gamble it away.
I think we steal that money back.
It's Ocean's 11, but it's stealing all the money that women make.
I was just walking into a woman's house and taking her money and leaving.
Kalshi and Polymarket have launched massive campaigns targeting women. Both of them have opened their own accounts.
Oh my god.
To market specifically towards women. And
Taylor Swift right in the center of the banner.
I was gonna say, take a look at this banner.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's called the funniest thing it could be called. Kalshi Girls.
What do women love? And then, by the way, it is like the most generic things you could possibly imagine, and then Taylor Swift in the middle.
Yeah, why does it say television? Like,
Television.
I would
Ladies
understand it
love
better if it
television.
was like Bachelorette or something like
What's
that.
hiding behind the logo?
Toxic. Music.
I was like, yeah, think more generic.
No, but it's so funny. Like, only women like television and music.
Yeah, they're kind of into art.
Is this okay, guys? Is this supported actually by Kalshi?
This is an official account from Kalshi.
This is one of Kalshi's, like, they have kind of been doing the throw spaghetti at the wall shotgun approach for all of these like little subcategories, because Kalshi Sports is something that makes a lot more sense. It's more aligned. That is also a huge revenue driver. And so they post a lot more sports clips and content and things that make sense. But very clearly, it's like, what are girls into? Television and Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I guess this is how you do it if you do just see people as cattle. And this is the best approach.
There's some new news developments, but first let's set the stage. Let's look at this Kalshi Girl starter pack.
Movies. Okay, I'm 15. What do I think women are?
Okay.
Pomeranian.
Okay, so this
First
is
of all,
girl.
that looks like your dog.
Excuse you.
Girl, are you coming to lunch? That's me to you, Anastasia.
I'm gonna be 15 minutes late making a few trades on Kalshi.
Why are you so bad at planning? Why are you doing trades? That's like not a thing that could make you late.
It's also not a huge amount of time to be late if you're like in that I would be like, I'm a little late. It's not 15 minutes of Kalshi.
I'm in traffic or something. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
I'm
mean?
actually driving right now, but I have 53 notifications on my Kalshi app, so I actually need to look at those while I'm driving.
I mean, you just gotta be
I'm
more
bidding
honest.
on if Van Cleef bracelets, Pomeranians, and matcha is up.
And plant.
Oh, and Road Beauty, the Hailey Bieber skincare brand.
Doesn't this this feels like a resentful incel meme about just like, you know what, the stupid girls, they don't get video games. They like a hoodie.
They
like
love a
wearing
hoodie that says, it's cropped. Sorry, it's cropped for the ladies.
Of course, that's right. So they can
And
handle
they
it.
love the
Very
Billboard Hot
sloppily
100.
cropped.
Yeah, it looks like it was cropped by the paint tool.
Yeah, it looks almost, Yeah, it's got no back.
Okay, so let's look at these bids this is why you're late, Anastasia. You were betting on who will attend Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding.
Uh-huh.
You were bidding on who will be a bridesmaid for the wedding of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
I think I know.
Who are you thinking?
Me.
Wow. We should
Insider trading.
Insider trading. Woo.
Wait, but I saw a clip where
Killer.
one of the CEOs, I can't remember which one, they're interchangeable to me, said they're looking out for insider trading because, like,
Keep an
you know,
eye out.
if you work on something, you could just tell everyone. And then when you tell everyone, they know. And then
Right.
they bet.
That's they call it, they're like, that's why these are information markets.
Perfect.
Because actually the information, there's a financial incentive to put the insider information into the market. So yes, you are insider trading, and yes, you are making money hand over fist and stealing that from people who don't have the information that you do. But eventually the line will move and it will be reflective of the truth.
And it's actually good, I guess is my point.
And it's actually good because I made money on each of those transactions.
Goodbye. It really does feel like Taylor Swift is the only woman they've heard about.
Oh, for sure.
Taylor Swift wedding,
What do
Taylor
girls
Swift
like?
music.
This is Christina Aguilera actually predicted this, speaking of prediction markets, when she sang her song, "What a Girl Wants, What a Girl Needs.
Prediction
Speculative
Markets will set me financially free." Do they think they're brat?
Oh my god, they are being
Brat, but
brat.
like slightly more blue.
Yeah. It's like blue brat, but also brat was so long. It was like 100 years ago.
Also, this like
seasons.
color combination doesn't.
It's disgusting. And the great thing is it only exists in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has never been printed.
They keep getting legitimized by like Bloomberg, by CNN.
Yeah,
by-
because because CNN and like these major news networks are taking their money because this is an opportunity where there's a ton of investor interest and there's a ton of like liquidity. And so there's a ton of advertiser money going around and they're like, why not? So on CNN, they're showing like on the ticker, like who's going to be the next Pope? Like 18% chance is this person or whatever.
Is he from Chicago? Nobody would have guessed that. You could have made a lot of money on that as a swing.
Let's jump over to Polymarket real quick because I want to point out their handle is insane.
Oh.
Baddies.
The color for girls. It's pink.
In that Atlantic article, they're like, do not Google that because you'll find a different.
Yeah, Baddies is I want polyamorous bad ladies in my chat.
Baddies. I mean, it's great branding for that. How was this not taken?
So this one, they not only paid the $1,000 plus for the gold check, but they're also linked in the Polymarket network. So that is like verification.
Wow. You know what girls love? I just remembered is incredibly low-res profile pictures for a professional brand.
But it's pink.
In fairness to them, Twitter just does that. I think that X is so broken, you like can't do it.
Ooh.
Okay, Baddies rules. So this is from Mean Girls.
Wait, can you scroll up real quick? So in September, Baddies created their account. And then in October, Calci Girls, because they're like, we're playing catch up. Yeah. And then they both pinned tweets from October. They're like cribbing off each other's homework.
Yeah.
And then of course this is that the Burn
Book from Mean Girls.
You know what women like? You heard about this movie?
It's like Mean Girls and Taylor Swift, right?
Well, the name girl is in it, so it's for girls.
Okay, explaining the hype to the girlies. We went from a few prediction market supercycle tweets to badges flying everywhere. The energy's crazy. And as a certified poly baddie, I love seeing more women joining the space. But with new faces come new noise and sometimes unnecessary bullying.
To the betters or to Calci?
We're all still new here.
What the hell is that one on the right there? The logo with 0.
I don't know.
The fuck is that? 0. Also, don't include them if it's 0. That's mean.
The biggest volumes still traded by TradFi veterans. That's traditional finance, but they tried to make it sound.
Oh wow! Oh,
sleek.
They're doing like it's like a counterculture thing.
Yeah, because they do like DeFi, like is decentralized finance. I think.
Oh my god!
Jordan, you're gonna love this. The logo, the mysterious logo with 0 melee markets.
What?
I know.
Melee.
And it got 0.
You got 0.
Oh, it's loading. It doesn't exist, I guess.
You don't need a finance degree to have a voice. Well, that much is obvious.
Well, same with sports gambling. What are you talking about?
When I started, I wasn't trading. I was researching, observing, and learning. Even now, my volume is small. This is so funny because it's like everything in the world, I feel, has these exclusionary vernacular. Yeah. It's like I could swap these out for synonyms that are like everyday words and it would make a lot more sense. But in order to sound like you're in the in-group, you have to talk about TradFi, volume, my edge is curiosity. They're just talking about their competitive edge. But you'll see that. It's like I look at my volume as in my trading volume as in how many transactions I'm doing.
Recording? Sound speed. That's how you know I know what I'm doing.
Poly baddies build, not gatekeep. Who wants to identify as a poly baddie?
It's sickening to me.
Literally who?
It's actually 0, right? Like it sometimes feels naive or hyperbolic to be like, well, who the hell would even want this? Who the hell would watch this shitty movie? It's like, a lot of people just don't care. I cannot believe there is a single human being that would want to identify this way. I just don't believe it.
This reminds me of something I encountered in a day job I had that I hated. It's the girl boss thing where it's like, I need to get mine. I wanna make money. Girls, it's actually feminism to get cash, that kind of thing. Like, and there is a culture where this works. It's advertising.
Well, it is. It's co-opting something, which is like there's a very real patriarchal thing, which has oppressed women and kept women down, right? And
especially financially.
Like
women couldn't have credit cards in the 80s.
Right. Or like get loans and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, And like that type of thing, leveraging that for your trading platform is, I feel, inherently predatory, because it's saying, like, you could do it for any marginalized group and saying, here's how we're gonna pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, and it's by gambling. Because like when this is just gambling, and you know that it's just gambling, and you know that everyone on these prediction market sites lose. There are 2 million traders on these prediction markets, and like 700 of them are making money.
One of the things that's really predatory about what we're talking about, like reutilizing and co-opting language that's actually like supposedly could be progressive or is associated with progressive ideas, is that you get to inject it's just a predatory gambling process, but you get to inject it with a little bit of counterculture aesthetics, and then it sounds like it's altruistic. Like, yeah, we're a sports betting website. Maybe we got a little of that to the side, but it's a fucking thing, guys. There's an affordability crisis. And you just start saying keywords until people are like, yeah, you're right. This could be my way out of it.
Well, no, because it's like...
It's a pink gun.
A lot of the clips from the higher-ups at these companies are just completely like, egg on my face, I can't believe you said that. One of them is... and this was in the John Oliver thing as well, is oh, you're struggling with medical debt? You can bet against certain clinical trials, succeeding or failing, and then you can hedge against the horrific medical debt you're going to go into from the treatments that you need. And that's a working society.
And they claim that companies and the government will see the popularity of something and actually go with it because so many people are betting on it.
It almost feels, it's kind of like a hot fix for the meritocracy, where like so much is not a meritocracy, obviously, but we were promised that it would be as children. And this is almost like, it's like a sloppy patch, like a day one, like, oh shit, version 1.01. Now you can literally just bet on anything. And so if something feels like it's luck, it isn't anymore. Oh, the medical debt thing is bad, bet on it, and now it's fixed.
It's like the thing about gambling that like allows it to be so predatory is it like preys on this like natural hubris, this feeling that you understand something more than you do.
Yep.
And if you ever have a win, it could like be the worst thing that happens to you, because it could make you think that you're actually smarter than you are.
Yeah.
The real reason that day trading, no one makes money day trading, and I'm speaking in generalities because the vast majority, this is a 99.9% situation. The reason that the vast majority of day traders and the vast majority of prediction market people don't make any money is because the actual people that you're competing against have dedicated resources. You're competing with people with way more resources and information than you.
Yeah. They should win. Like
it is
you would think you
it is completely stacked against you, and you are David and Goliath is a story because you didn't expect David to win. 999 times out of 1,000, Goliath beats David.
He stomps him.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The system's gamed. Like,
and so that's what I mean is that all of these people, we show you David. I could be fucking up David versus Goliath, but I think you know what I mean colloquially.
No,
But basically what they're doing is they're showing you David versus Goliath, and you're like, look at that. The little guy took on the big thing and they won. But that's the selection bias propaganda that we show you so that 2 million Davids can go lose to Goliaths, and then 700 Davids win. And then we don't care about those 700 Davids that won because we just had 1.99 million Goliaths just pay us their entire and get addicted.
It's not a very interesting myth. Called like
if it always
David
happens.
versus Goliath, but David had a gun.
David, or it's like it's the myth of the guy that went to work 40 hours a week and went home and never did anything bad and always kind of just did his thing.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, that didn't really compel me in any way.
Don't want to do that one.
Don't you just want to be like somebody who does everything the right way?
It's a good reflection of how the David and Goliath myth is boiled down into the bit where he's epic, as opposed to the part where he spends the rest of his life with the burden of the fact that he achieved one big thing. That's like the essence of that story, which would be winning once and then it burdening you for the rest of your life, smoking 2 cigarettes. And then
Hey, but all you need is one big win. Also, to be like an expert marksman, you gotta hit him fucking in the eye, bro, with your slingshot. Isn't that the thing? I don't know.
Yeah, he's really good with it.
Yeah, I'm like, not everybody is. It's like looking at the Olympic archery and being like, I could do that.
I just hit the middle.
Or like looking at that Turkish guy who's like naked, who's like a really good shot with the naked eye, and every other person in that entire like field uses
Has like Terminator,
equipment.
like RoboCop.
I'm watching that and being
vision.
like, oh, I guess I'll go to the Olympics and shoot like that. We could all do it.
One great example of this is there's this guy named Benjamin who does these like videos about like awful Wall Street Bets losses, because it reminds me of Wall Street Bets, because Wall Street Bets was like, it's the place that the GameStop stock thing happened.
Subreddit, right?
But most of the stuff on there is people creating like easy to follow arguments for an investing thing, but leaving out something extremely major because they don't actually understand the markets that they're in, and then losing a bunch of money. And in one instance, that Roaring Kitty guy had a well-reasoned thing about GameStop, but it was not to be crazy gains. It was to be like marginal gains. And then it became a meme, and then he made like tens of millions of dollars. But then it's kind of cooked people's brains because now they think that like everything is going to be the next GameStop. Same with like AMC. It's like these businesses that are bad, but people are speculating on bad businesses. And so it's like Allbirds again. It's like this thing will continue, and the people with the information are going to be the people that win. And the retail investors, like typically how you refer to like people like this, is going to be the one holding the bag. And so this creator Benjamin is like, I've watched a bunch of his videos. He is like pretty intelligent about finance and talks about these people, their psychology, how they lose all their money, and how you get into this headspace of, you know, thinking you're bigger than your britches and stuff. And he just posted on his Patreon that he lost all his money. And he posted a video where he's like, yeah, where basically at least his like entire savings. He kind of talked about it as this like cautionary tale of trading as an individual, the psychology. You like start getting high on your own supply, and you take risks that if you were at a firm, they would like stop you from doing that. But because you're an individual, he just like ended up doing stupid stuff irrationally. Yeah, even though he knew it was bad.
It's like Goku beating Frieza is like so unlikely that then in the next arc, he should have been like, I'm not going to fight again. I already got away with one victory. There's no way I'm going to get any stronger. I'm not the protagonist anymore.
Or even the thing is, the reason that we know Goku's name is because we saw the guy who did all that stuff.
Yes.
And not the millions of people in that show who just died.
Yeah. So it's like watching that and going like, wow, it seems like Frieza's easy to beat. That must be what was the result of that.
It's like Master Roshi being like, and I'm still that dude.
There's actually a great movie about this called Wall Street. And
a sequel with Shia LaBeouf.
No, stop it.
It's the Dunning-Kruger thing of like, I watch sports all the time. I think I know.
I'm pretty smart.
I watch sports all the time. I know that Steph Curry is going to get over 21 points tonight. And then I also know that, you know, this player is going to get this many assists. So why don't I just parlay those things together? And you don't think about the probability compounding and how when you add those, like that's why parlays are like a huge money sink, is because yes, you can win big, but the reason you can win big is the odds are astronomically large that you lose.
And the stakes for losing is so immediate. Like I genuinely thought to myself, yeah, I'm actually really good at Melee, and I think there could be something here. I go to one tournament, I get fucking schooled. And the lesson I'm taking from that is like, oh, well, thank God I didn't put all of my savings on this. I got to learn I wasn't good enough with no stakes.
I had that with whenever I would watch like Smash tournaments and wager Twitch bits.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be like...
The believers.
Or whatever they're called, points or whatever. And
I think bits at least at one point.
Yeah, or something. It's not real money, because I think Twitch bits are real money. So this was just fake currency. It's like, it's a thing you make up. Because I remember when I ran predictions, there was another, you can make it up. So it's like...
Because the bits, I think you can buy some, or but you also get them with time.
Yeah, but this is like fake currency. And I would like earn money making my bets. And then, of course, some unlikely event would happen. and I would bet with the majority, and then I would lose it all. You see this all the time where it's like someone's going to place a big bet on a 99% thing, but a 1 in 100 chance that you lose everything is not worth the risk for the marginal gain. And so the thing with this Benjamin guy, like losing his money, it's like he's a smart guy, but I was reading something about how like his models are really good, but the issue is you model reality, and then that you become like normalized to that, and then you want for more, and then you have to start thinking outside of reality. And the issue is you're breaking away from these things that model what realistically can happen. And the
only solution would be to make the money and then never, ever, ever touch the markets ever again.
In the way or just like investing in like low yield, like slow, boring investments that are just not flashy or exciting. It's much more exciting to find the next big thing.
You become the coach. You can't play anymore. Your knees are bad. Like you're not. It's fine.
But the last thing I was going to say about that before we go into more of these baddies is gambling is addictive because it plays on these human like predilections for. It plays on human psychology in a very insidious way, and we know that people can get addicted to it and it can ruin lives. And that's why it shouldn't be everywhere. Yes. It should be sequestered, because it's like the island that makes you old. It's like the app that steals, that like makes you bankrupt.
Yeah. And it is, people are weird about, I think, specifically money, like actual currency. In people's relationship with currency is for some reason like different than their relationship with any other material thing, where, well, it's mine, as though money is not like just part of a larger system. It's just just as much of like riding a chocobo in Final Fantasy. It's just a system. It's just an element.
Yeah.
And people treat it like it's like
a tool.
Well, but the money was never yours, really.
Yeah.
It's the points that are being distributed.
In fact, I feel like a lot of those people get radicalized by like watching their taxes be taken out of their paycheck, or having to pay taxes and then be like, I had this and now I'm losing it, and it just hurts to lose anything.
There must be something wrong here.
It hurts psychologically so much more to lose than it does to gain by like a large factor.
And then they'll like it's like, I think the natural human instinct to be like, well, just don't take away my ability to bet on sports. Just don't bet on sports if you don't win.
But I am a temporarily embarrassed multimillionaire, and I need to simply unlock my true potential, which is having $1 billion.
And I will gladly make a skin lamp out of everyone else so that I can get there. That's all I'm
saying.
We made a video about these prediction markets a while back. The house always wins. If you're too good at predicting if you're winning too much, they actually just kick you off their app.
They do that for sports betting. I wonder if they do it for prediction markets. Because
I actually don't. But
I will say that's documented
true.
For all the major sports betting apps. For prediction markets, I actually don't know. But I do know that like the insider trading thing should spook you about anything. Like I saw that you could bet on some Euphoria stuff.
Yes.
And I'm like, bro, like that show has writers. It's
already been filmed.
That show has already been filmed and screened. There are hundreds of people who've seen all the plot elements.
There's a best boy grip.
A sneaky
exactly.
The best boy grip.
One of my favorite roles in the credits.
Yeah. And you guys, I'm actually into girl grip. Have you checked out that version of the service? It's pink.
Like you guys have pointed out before, a lot of these platforms are advertising that as a feature.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know this because you were a best boy grip, so why not make some money off of it?
And I want to create the market where the best boy grip is able to spoil who dies in Euphoria season 3.
The best boy should be allowed to choose. I do think there's something like maybe it's more just like an emotionally predatory practice, or like it's adding demonic vibes into the world or something. But I do think there's something very sad about taking advantage of people's trust in systems, especially right now, where a lot of people, we expect people to be cynical enough to see this and go like, I'm not fucking doing that, are you crazy? But really, genuinely, most of the time, if somebody sees that something is big and they see that it's a big thing with lots of money in it and lots of people in it and it employs lots of people, that for a lot of people legitimizes it. For us, it
No,
adds
I mean, it's like
skepticism.
I feel like, I have to know the amount of extra information I have to have in order to be distrustful of something. The average person doesn't have.
Well, they would go like, well, there's laws about sports gambling, so surely they would kick in, and if this wasn't safe, the government would help us.
But it's like, but then the government is also putting out Melania coin.
And then you're like,
And it's like, okay, it's not really the government, but then it's like weird. It's close.
the government would
And
do
then there's
something good.
also all of the Trump associated crypto stuff.
But at least she made that really good movie.
Oh my God, dude. The soundtrack impeccable.
Piece of shit.
So we have some baddie content, right?
Hell yeah.
That's what we call
Yeah.
the show, dude.
That's what I,
Do we really want to look at a couple points on this polybetty oath?
of
Yes.
course. Let's look at the unofficial polybaddy oath. I will trade or learn at my own pace. I will not shame others for doing the same. I will understand that we're early and that being early means building, not gatekeeping.
Are you really?
I will remember that bringing new people in is just as valuable as winning a trade. That's not true.
Winning
I
a
want
trade,
money.
that's insane. That doesn't
I
make
don't
any
believe it for a second. No one's going to sign that oath.
Is this what that doesn't add up?
I will keep the vibes high and the odds honest. That's not true. It's a platform with insider trading as a feature.
That's fucking cringe.
I am a woman. I am always right. That one's interesting.
This was written by a man.
I am or ChatGPT. I am a baddie. That's who I am.
Oh, fucking cringe. Yikes. Oh man. Oh brother, what is that
I almost
billboard?
spat.
What?
Wait, can we look at that mural?
Yeah, I
What
want
the hell
to
is
see who's
that?
in there.
The Avengers of Baddies.
Is this real?
No.
Like
Oh.
what the?
There's
Oh
no way,
god, it's not.
right?
Yeah, it's not even mapped properly.
No.
to
It's
Why'd they do such a bad
Is
job?
that the
It's
CEO of
photoshopped
Poly
on.
Market? Is that the like?
Wait, what
Is
the
that like
fuck?
a? Is that like a professionally taken photo that's supposed to look like not a professionally taken photo of the CEO of Poly Market looking at Poly Market on the?
I run that.
It is the CEO of Polymarket.
Yeah.
He's wearing a very CEO fit.
The thing I think about a lot, and it's a thing I struggle with because I want $1 billion, but I don't want it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because like my brain's wired to want money to never want for anything in my life, but then I know that I don't actually want to do the labor theft that's just like that's
all
involved
that.
with doing that.
All that nonsense.
And
you know?
so I see those guys and I'm like, man, that is something I thought I wanted. And so like there's a shell of myself that's jealous. Does that make sense?
But it's like you didn't realize you were like a Sith, but you're like, I like these lightsabers and the cloaks are cool. What are you guys? Oh,
But
my
here's the
God.
thing, like the reason why that's a plot point in Star Wars where Luke is like, do I want to be to like go to the dark side?
I love my daddy.
It's like I love my daddy. I don't know my daddy, but I want to know
but
him.
I want to love him.
And I want daddy love.
I want to see what's under his helmet.
But it's because it's so easy. Like I just think it's really easy to get pulled. We all have it inherently inside of us to go one way or the other, right?
I have a
One
high
way
midichlorian
or
count. You
another.
have a low midichlorian count, I bet.
Yeah, so one of the leading baddie influencers in this space is someone who officially works with Polymarket.
That's weird.
Great.
What are the odds?
Named
Oh.
Evie. And she's worked with Polymarket for a long time. She teaches women how to do this stuff. But now,
How to open their computer and do
Yeah.
computer.
but now she's starting her own
Prediction market?
prediction market.
What the? Oh, dude, my day ones. Oh my
Trading
God.
internet's viral
Oh,
moment.
Is that
oh
Trisha
my God.
Paytas?
Trisha Paytas has become the face of it's like Taylor Swift, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like an icon of a certain generation.
What are you
Yeah.
girls like again? The lady.
And also this is so okay. Can you hit back real quick? I'm just gonna call it a little pick me girl
What a
boss
trick.
moment. So it's the 0x is like a memory address. Like yeah. So it's cool.
That's badass. Still
Yeah.
linking to Polymarket, huh?
Yeah, well, you got to get your
I think she's still working with them. Her platform's only in beta right now.
What a
What does
traitor.
her banner say? It's I'm your favorite ginger in tech. I am a serious founder. Oh, I get it.
Graphic design
No,
is my
because it's like,
passion,
she's a serious founder, but she's also a small bean.
I still think that aesthetic can be cute and quirky, but like when you're leveraging what you're leveraging here, like doing it in tech and prediction markets, I'm like, pick a struggle.
yeah. No, this is not your realm.
Yeah. At the risk of cringing a lot, I want to watch POV 2026 Y Combinator founder application video. And then I want to watch the video to the left, which I am assuming that she bought a Mac Mini to do OpenClaw AI automation stuff. That's my theory. So I'm attempting to clock it here. So I expect to cringe, and then I expect to OpenClaw.
Oh, this is my menu again.
Oh, and she's wearing a Quality Leering Center hoodie merch.
What's that?
That is Nick Shirley merch. That's the
because
was it Minnesota? No.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the Tim Waltz,
yeah.
right? Like,
And they
so
made-
in Minnesota, it was the Somali like childcare centers
That
and
he
one
was
of
trying
them-
to expose.
that he was trying to expose. One of them misspelled learning on their sign, and he made this merch with 1-800-FRAUD on it. And so I feel like wearing this is very much
It almost doesn't feel contiguous with the brand she's doing. It's kind of unrelated.
yeah. Well, it's a
kind of shit,
posture. It's like, don't worry, I'm not one of those wokies. I'm actually like the secretly extremely conservative tech crowd.
Yeah, she's. Oh, you know what it is? It's like the inverse equivalent of like the exact same personality type, except they're wearing "Keep Calm" and gangster rap, and it's got like Biggie on it or something. You're like, oh, I get it. You're also really cool.
It's got like "Keep Calm" and "Wag Me," as in we are gonna make it, like a thing that the crypto investors say, and it's Sam Bankman-Fried wearing it.
The little crown.
Yeah, I have to assume the Mac Mini is her employee because with OpenClaw you no longer need people. You can simply have AI agents be your employees.
You can siphon their blood.
Love that.
Hi, Com. I'm Evie, and this is my co-founder, Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard.
And this is our application for the 2026 Spring Batch.
I built a prediction market on live streaming.
We did.
That's right. We're going to take over the world.
Shut up, Richard.
Okay, sorry. What is this?
I
don't know what I just
We gotta
saw.
watch the Mac Mini video next.
I need someone to explain what just happened.
So imagine a world where your entire community is brain broken tech people. That was sketch comedy for them.
Where it's like, oh, this I've created an AI co-founder and he's secretly evil, but I'm trying to stop him from
And he's
saying
threatening Y Combinator, let me in or else I will hack you.
and she's like
It requires a lot of scaffolding.
Fuck is
it
going on?
requires a lot
feels
of
similar
scaffolding.
to like a Minions movie.
It feels
Joe?
similar to Improv 1.
Yeah. It feels. I mean,
Where
it feels
someone
like
comes in
recent
with
Family Guy.
a fully baked idea that only exists in their head. And they don't do any of the work to bring you up to speed with where they're at.
That literally felt like I was watching a previously on for season 9 of a show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell is Dune?
All right, let's see if I clocked it.
I did a thing. You know what that means. Richard is getting an upgrade. I already set an EC2, but unfortunately blocks a lot of features for Richard. So Richard got an upgrade. Let's set this baby up.
When you see a Mac Mini and you're talking about AI, that's your OpenClaw thing. People talk about like the Mac Mini is like, that's my virtual employee. And that's how you're supposed to treat it.
I
know, it's a whole new world.
There's so much about what she's doing that feels like it's just keywords, especially the Nick Shirley hoodie.
Yeah.
I'm like, your joke is like, what if your computer was your friend? But also
it's
keep
evil.
an eye out for these foreigners.
that's
just a side interest.
No, that's just a side thing. That's like if I was wearing a community shirt.
Right. It's exactly like, it's just merch. That's so.
It's merch.
Oh, fucking whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're there. You're there. Yeah. No, you're there. Yeah, absolutely.
It literally can't pair with my Logitech wireless mouse, so I'm going to Best Buy right now. I don't have a mouse. I'm gonna get
Why can't you
That
pair it?
can't be right.
Mac Mini.
Oh my
Setting
God.
up a Clawbot is seriously an IQ test. At the office, Mom, I'm employed. We are so rich. All I have to do right now is basically bash
This is quirky, like me at the computer and it's a dog.
This is tough. This is like millennial core. I mean, it's our fault
Yeah,
we
I
did this to
yeah.
manually zooming in during a recording.
Dude, I see myself in this so bad. Like, if I took the wrong exit.
Oh, dude. But we got caught because there wasn't also fascist coding related to everything. It wasn't like a bunch of wearing a hoodie that says like, no Negroes now or something.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do wonder, like, if I was coming up in this time, if I would have had the same, because I think that a lot of tech for me was very optimistic.
Yes.
And I am an optimistic person, but I became very pessimistic about how tech was being applied.
Oh, I think we would talk, and a lot of people in this space would, and I'm sure still do. You talk about traditional offices and traditional work in an oppositional way. Like, that world's corporate. That world isn't trying to achieve anything.
Cool. We have ping pong table.
We're hanging out, dude.
We're actually hanging out. We're hanging out and changing the world.
We've almost hired a black woman.
Hell
and
yeah.
We're really thinking about it.
And guess what? We did, but she's our facilities manager.
She's not really working out.
We gave her a job that's different.
Yes, don't worry. She makes the least amount of money on our team and does the most amount of work.
And don't worry, every person of color is in a similar role.
Don't worry.
Except one.
This guy
It's me and Erica Baker.
Yeah, that's true. New CTO. It is my cousin's friend's frat brother's party organizer.
Oh, man.
He is 15 years old and does not have a computer.
The good news is the only people like that were if you were grandfathered in early. I guess we're not supposed to use that term anymore. If you were legacy.
Oh, I
think because it's about slavery.
It always gets in there, doesn't it?
I think it has to do with like about whether or not it's like one drop rule stuff for like your.
Dude, slave owners were so obsessed with terminology.
It's always a process of like.
Yeah.
It's like obviously
learning about our language.
Yeah, learning about our language, understanding what things. I'm not like villainizing anyone who says grandfathered in.
And I think it's one of those things that's intuitive as something else, right? It's like, like a grandfather because it's older than you.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I think the origin just happens to be post-Civil War Southern United States, roughly 1895, 1910 as a legislative tool designed to disenfranchise African Americans. These laws allowed illiterate or poor white voters to skip literacy tests and pull taxes if their ancestors had been eligible to vote before the abolition of slavery. So basically it's like rules for thee and not for me. So like if you're black, you have to work 3 times harder.
Yeah. If you deserve human rights, then prove it.
But I mean, we solved racism already, and all these black people need to just stop complaining.
Dude, why is FD wasting all these time on these long video essays? Play Tekken, bro.
Just play Tekken.
Get back to work.
Just shut up and special, or shut up and ult, bro.
Put the Dragonov in the bag, little bro.
Dude, put Heihachi in a chokehold, little bro.
So Heihachi's a chokehold.
Does that happen in Tekken? I don't know. Put Eddie Gordo in a capoeira stance.
Spin him around.
I'm assuming that she's setting this up so that she can create her
employee for her prediction market startup.
Prediction market.
People are using, and this is, by the way, I do want to watch the stuff that you guys prepared, but just setting the stage with this, people are using these types of tools to do automated trading.
Oh wow!
To kind of empower the new generation. Now it's not just Wall Street that has like bots and things like looking at stuff. It's actually me and this AI that can't count to 10. Or tell me that there's an X in October.
October. I have a question. Maybe this is just a vibes read. You're going to have to do a soul read on this one. What is the ratio balance here, the percentage ratio between wants to do this, to just kind of do anything to get clout and attention and post, versus making clouty content to get attention to do the thing that gets you the money?
Sometimes it feels like it's validation for within your in-group that so much posturing happens in tech. It's like that meme that I showed you that one time where it's like me and my co-founder were at dinner and we had an issue with our code base, and then the waiter actually helped us fix it.
Yeah.
Only in SF.
It's so I'm such a humanist. We didn't tip him. I don't believe in that kind of culture.
San Francisco is a place with a lot of rich culture, but it does feel like tech is kind of this parasite that's like eating the culture away from the city. And then the thing I would be is like, you can't throw a stone without hitting a MacBook, like with a terminal opened up. And I just wanted like a little more like LA has its entertainment industry, but like it feels like it has a lot more. It's bigger by a lot, so there's just like a lot more space for culture to happen.
And there's like cultural reflection in.
It's like a miracle I met Anastasia. I was like a normal person.
I'm a normal person.
For San Francisco, you're normal.
You
How
never work in
fucked
tech
up
at
is
all,
that?
right?
I've never in my life worked in tech.
That's like you're a unicorn.
And you're so fucking weird. And despite not having worked in tech, we found one of the weird ones outside of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like...
But here's the thing.
Principles.
I moved to the Bay Area because when I was growing up, the Bay Area was punk rock and artists.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. We were talking about Green Day before we started recording.
Talking about Gilman Street.
I was so excited to go to Gilman. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to Gilman. I can't wait to go to Bottom of the Hill. All of
Bottom
these
of the Hill, yeah.
venues that I had heard about.
I moved to the Haight when I first moved. I was like, wow, this will be... Oh, there's nothing.
And you were like, I love it, actually.
This is much better than I heard about, actually.
And so I moved there, and little did I know, I was moving there right in the moment when tech was becoming an Uber parasite. Like, it had already done that in the early 2000s, slightly, but it was staying in the South Bay.
Yeah, the dot-com boom was mostly in the South Bay.
And now it's spreading to Oakland and San Francisco. And this is bad back in 2008 when I moved there. And then it was like, oh, I didn't realize that I was going to move into a place to watch everything I love die.
Yeah.
There's also that like kind of Chernobyl radiation that spreads out and infects everything around it, where like, in retrospect, this is so fucked up. But early on, people talked to me about Oakland like it was the dormitory living space.
Like it was Chirac.
Yeah, you could just like live there for less money. It's basically a hotel. Like it's not its own place.
I was gonna say, people
culture.
talked about it like it was like super dangerous and like.
Yeah, that's where the crime is.
Yeah, that's where all the black people are. So you
keep
know.
it there.
Yeah.
They got this guy Ryan Coogler running around.
Look
Oh
out!
my God.
Look out!
That
He's
guy
planning to make
crazy
movies.
accent.
If I had run into him.
And that is that sort of read on tech in San Francisco is very reductive, but it speaks to like a frustration that I had, especially once I quit my tech job and was no longer like going every day.
Yeah.
And then I realized how much, all of my friends were still in it and all the people that I knew. And then it was just very like isolating. Whereas like in LA's weird. Like so many people like don't have traditional jobs and like are, you go to like Hillhurst at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday and there's like people out and about and it's like,
Yes, the entertainment industry is huge here. There's also there's like 100 other industries that are also huge here.
And it's also worth noting that San Francisco is like 7 square miles.
Yes.
And Los Angeles is 100 billion bajillion. It's a fucking state large.
Yeah.
It's a bug bite to an elephant kind of thing. Like it's like, that's weird. Plus, even like the industry, like the most cynical parts of it here, it's still 100 years old.
Yeah.
There is like implicitly some kind of cultural value in there that's being maintained, like a super old theater or something. Honestly, it's,
or like
it's
the Castro.
practice.
There's so much history, and especially with like gay rights and stuff like that. There's this combination of like not building additional housing and the like kind of NIMBY thing.
Yeah.
Combined with the proliferation of tech workers moving into San Francisco and creating a competitive housing market where like the prices of, at the peak, San Francisco was more expensive than New York and LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
And I
funny.
remember when I moved, I could get like a 2-bedroom apartment in LA for the price of like a 1-bedroom
in a shared.
Yeah.
Like you had roommates.
And I had roommates. Yeah. It's like I didn't pay that much more to get like a place where I could have an office since I was going to be like working from home and I needed to have some sort of separation.
Yeah, half the thing that motivated me to move down was like, I don't know, it was like $600 less than the studio I was paying for to live in a 1-bedroom here. And then now I'm like, oh, well, that's because this is like, it was a building here that was a pre-established living environment. Yeah. And this was essentially like just the dorms for a law school that I was living in San Francisco. So like no one there spoke to anyone and it just was kind of culturally absent.
But yeah, maybe I'm out of touch and out of pocket.
We were a little, this is the thing though, is like, I always thought naively that if nothing else, the like that like silly kind of culty, but like warmth. Like it's insulated and no one from outside is welcome, but that kind of like, we're a family, who did that naivete would at least exclude the fascists.
Yeah,
then, like,
you would think.
No.
See, people like, if you wore like a Nick Fuentes shirt or something and you
So
went into the
crazy.
Patreon office, you would be a slave. Like there would be
that at the very
resistance.
least, like I worked in places that were very supportive of like trans people.
Yes.
And they were like, it was like very like stage one lib, where like, I don't know if you remember when Trump got elected in 2016, it was like a dark day at the office. Everyone was upset. Yeah. But like at the very least, people had their hearts in the right place. And I met so many amazing people. It is one of those things where it's just like, I gotta eject. I gotta hit the eject button on this. And
I do think while tech was originally a very like liberal space back in the day, I do think is getting more and more conservative.
It is.
Just,
I feel like it's I mean, I don't know. My diagnosis is that it's the allegiance to the almighty dollar over any sort of civil liberties and social like freedoms.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of the day, and then also when belts tighten like financially and money isn't growing on trees, because like it used to be easier like comparatively to raise funds and stuff. I don't know. You just start becoming like a corporatocracy, I guess.
Yeah.
And guess who's getting called is probably the people in lower positions of power, which most likely are ones that aren't going to look like you, the CEO, and know you, the CEO.
But what do we know? We're just the guys who goof at the TikTok. So let's just watch the TikTok.
Who's your silly boy?
Set up Richard.
Is this an ad? It feels like an ad.
It does feel like an ad, but it's not, because they wouldn't be selling anything.
that is kind of something
It's
that
more of a
happens with prediction markets, is where people will be like, I'm going to go through all of my earnings on Kalshi, and they're not disclosing that it's actually a Kalshi ad, that they're being paid by Kalshi to do that. So
yeah, there's a lot
that's
of
happened
undisclosed
a lot.
ads too.
Yeah.
This is funny.
I don't know if that's what
because
this is.
the AI is telling them they're doing the ooh close. Okay, so they're setting up OpenClaw. This is like a dark future of like those day in the life videos that Maiko did and I like did a little bit.
It's this one, but it's like, I drink my protein slurry that's served to me by my AI companion.
If you want a picture of tech optimism, watch a day in the life of a software engineer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, my clawbot is telling me how to set up a clawbot. It is literally getting dark outside. I do have bad news. We lost a soul.
Yeah, what do you... I guess she's saying I've been working all day, but that's like what everyone
job,
does.
yeah. That's just 5 o'clock.
That's crazy. Guys, it is literally the sun is going away.
The sun is turning around into the moon.
It's my first day being a person.
Guys, there is literally air. And I'm breathing it. Okay.
Sobbing. This is sobbing.
We lost a soldier.
We lost a
The
soldier.
Richard I had before, unfortunately, gone. I tried getting it back, but it just didn't work. Anyways, we have Richard number 2. I'm gonna make a new video about setting up Richard. I want to teach him how to trade. I want to teach him how to do my social media, and I can't wait for him to run my life.
So yeah, it's like so that you get a sense. It's like this type of person is using a lot of AI to run various aspects. I still think about. And there was a window of time where this video made sense. I was going to do a video where I had AI like post and tweet for me for like a week, but it was years ago. And so then
it was pre-pandemic.
It was pre-pandemic. Yeah. And that it was a novel thing, because I was I used to have fun like fiddling with technology for videos, but now it's like not fun because it makes me think about this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now, yeah, because now it inevitably feels like laundering the optics of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, Jarvis is doing it. Must be fine.
Let's talk prediction markets, but in dating terms. A binary market is basically a yes-no bet. Imagine you betting on him texting you back or not. Hedging means protecting yourself against the risk by taking the opposite position. In dating, that's basically having a backup guy in case your main relationship fails.
This is like what I was saying earlier about the just words that they use.
Yeah.
Like a binary market being a yes-no bet. It's like... It's just a yes/no bet.
You
but
said
they'd have
it
to
in a way
use...
that I understood.
Yeah.
But then And also then saying it's basically a yes/no bet. Even more basically, if you're a chick, here's the version of yes/no.
I also fall into this thing where sometimes I will still use words that I'd use if I was like in a meeting in tech.
Yeah. Oh,
like I'll say like the term Boolean or something, or binary.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
I'm M-dashing in my voice.
Yeah. Let's circle back.
Taking this offline is something I had to like scrape out of my brain.
Oh my God.
Which always bothered me because it doesn't
make sense.
It's the opposite of whatever. Like the number of times people would say that after an in-person meeting.
They actually mean offline in a completely different technical context, which is, or even a non-tech, but it doesn't matter. It's confusing.
Linguistically, it is, by the time it reached me, no reference to the technical element
Yeah,
at all.
or I don't even know if it's based on, there's a technical thing I think it could be referring to and a non-technical thing I think it could be referring to, but it doesn't matter.
Market odds are an extremely important component of prediction markets. It's basically when the whole market collectively believes that the chance of something happening is.
The odds. Like, I'm like, why did she use so many words to describe the odds?
The odds, like literally.
But I guess she's saying if you see the term market odds, if you see the term market odds on a market, that's the odds.
Markedly.
Of the thing.
If you will. It's kind of like when you're doing your nails, girl style.
Yeah, I'm like, why did that sound so complicated? I was like, why are we doing this? It's like water. So when people say water, they're referring to like H2O, which is
there's a collection of molecules.
Collection of molecules, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen.
But sometimes there's other stuff in there.
Sometimes there's other stuff in there, so it's a composite beverage. The government maybe adds fluoride.
Wait, can you explain it for a light-skinned nerd? Put it in light-skinned nerd
It's like
terms.
when Vegeta, yeah.
It's like if Vegeta bet on something 50-50.
Yeah.
Oh,
He bet
right.
on whether or not they'd find the legendary Super Saiyan.
Me going bankrupt doing this right before I bet on something.
So let's say there's a 70% chance he'll ghost you and 30% he'll commit.
Those are the two things.
Yeah, 30% he'll commit is incredibly high.
Commit. Also, I don't know.
And that's not a binary market.
That's like, would you like to be married? Oh no, yeah, you're right. It's completely different.
There's actually
a 50% chance.
No,
only?
a binary market is there's two options,
Right.
and she's presenting this as a binary market when in reality there's a bunch of options between ghost and commit.
Yeah.
But okay, again, explain it for a light-skinned nerd.
Oh well, so I was gonna say the word I would use in a tech meeting that I have to take out of my vocabulary is it's actually modal.
Stop. Burn.
Probability curves equals modern astrology. And lastly, let's talk insider trading.
Explain that.
Yeah.
Why that one was
Why
so
is everything
fast.
else over-explained?
Was that a metaphor?
She explained the concept of odds that an event would happen.
Twice.
So probability what? Probability
curves.
Curves.
Yeah, as in like
Did she set that up?
modern
Probability
astrology.
curves equals modern astrology.
There's those sparkles that we were insecure about putting in the
sparkles.
Sad Boys thing because I think now it's like the AI sparkles. So we got fucked on that, but whatever. All right, let's keep watching this.
We should sad baddies, bad.
Maybe it's
boys.
Well, maybe now it's like meta.
Yeah, we were owning them.
Yeah.
And lastly, let's talk insider trading. It's when you have the information before everybody else does. Almost like if you know that the guy that you like is going to break up with his girlfriend, so you slide in his DMs early. Tune in or follow me for more prediction market term explanation.
I know maybe there's like a hint of irony to it, but there's always something. The like relatability element of just being like, it's like when you do something cruel and sociopathic. You know what I mean?
I'm still upset that the one thing she didn't explain
It's the one that
is the one that was the most confusing
It's
thing.
like modern astrology, dude.
All right, who's
It's kind
this?
of like when you read a novel, how there's words and stuff.
Who's this baddie?
These are some examples of paid ads on TikTok and Instagram that Kalshi has put out.
Oh, this is
I can't
actually,
wait
this
to
isn't
see
like
them.
potentially a sneaky integration. This is straight up like.
These are straight up just ads.
So we're going to look at a few more of these, but the reason that people are talking about this right now is because there are a bunch of lawsuits against Polymarket and Kalshi. There's a class action claiming Kalshi illegally runs online sports betting platform, which they might have a case.
I mean, what? Just because
I'm
they
no
do
lawyer.
it? That's the rule now.
Just because we advertise and allow for sports betting on our, the sports betting on Kalshi is like Los Angeles basketball team versus. Like
They don't name
the team.
Yeah.
That's how they do it?
I think because to name them, you have to have some sort of name license or something.
That's so funny. And it's like Dikola Dotic or something. Gikola Bopic.
Slovenian point guard for the Los Angeles basketball team.
European style big guy.
Yeah.
And then there are also several investigations into how they're advertising and targeting young people, making it seem like using these platforms are like a hack to make money.
And that's the biggest...
Because they say it out loud?
And that is the biggest thing, because given the time that we're in right now, there are more people being squeezed than ever. And it's harder to find traditional work. Yeah. And so these are the times when people want a way out. And this is preying predatorily on that desire.
Yeah, there must be. And even I think people are often sharp enough to know, well, it's like you were saying, the stats are against me. Like the house usually wins, but hang on. Because I have a strategy. Takes 20 seconds to bet on the weather. I do it repeatedly. I do it not too overambitiously. And it's like, well, no, it's going to feel not overambitious because gambling wise, $30 feels like a reasonable thing. But if you are doing it every single day and being drained financially, it's just like, it's cute bankrupting. So this one says, the caption is 2026 side hustle. Predict the weather, 20 seconds. Make $35, repeat daily.
This is like when you're betting on your sneaky link's penis size.
That's on your son's nighttime erection.
Oh yeah, when you're Brian Johnson. Did it say sponsored by Kalshi? Because a lot uses Kalshi, but I do think that there have been a lot of these that do not explicitly say that they're ads.
These ones have been taken down, so I don't have access to like the caption or the hashtags. But
it's believable that it could happen, that it's not. It doesn't say hashtag sponsored, because I've with my own eyes seen it not happen.
And I guess what do they care if they just shotgun blast out a bunch and they get taken down?
Yeah.
Like, okay, whatever.
Ask for forgiveness.
This one does say actually sponsored baked into the video.
Is this from Kalshi?
Yes, this is a sponsored advertisement from.
Yeah, I guess this is a sponsored post, but there's something unsettling when if I'm being paid by a brand to like say an ad read, that's one thing, and it's disclosed. This is this weird thing where it's an ad, but it's on the official page, and they talk to you like we're best friends because they're trying to leverage that parasocial thing, and it feels very icky. Like,
it's creepy.
Okay, guys, let me tell you about something that I've really loved lately, and then you watch it, and then you're like, for a second, I thought this was like a real TikTok, and then I looked and saw that it was sponsored. Yeah. And now I'm going to swipe away.
I wonder if there's even like, do a lot of like younger people get why that's bad? Like,
I think it's so normalized.
I think it's like, I think you see this and you go, oh, this is cool. This person was posting a sincere thing, and Kalshi decided to repost it. Like, I don't even think the idea that something that's supposed to look authentic wouldn't be.
Right.
I mean, they go like, oh, yeah, it must be real. Like, she's in a house.
Hey.
She didn't out loud say, I'm being paid to do it.
Hey, this looks like it was shot with a front-facing iPhone camera. That's just like the one I have.
Fuck,
that's my best friend.
Phone. I should bankrupt myself.
I also, just before you hit play, want to point out, it's clearly an ad for gambling, and then it goes, payouts vary with market conditions or real-world events, not guaranteed. As if it's like the video is about to be, here's how you can guarantee to make money. I simply know what the weather's going to be every day.
A money hack.
It is. They do this all the time. They'll be like, I bet on Trump saying sleepy Joe Biden, duh, because he always does.
Okay, I don't know why more people aren't doing this. Like, I literally made $761.07 last night. Like, I'm not a trader or anything. My friend literally just told me about this app called Kalshi.
Wait, can you pause?
That's what literally.
I'm not a trader or anything. Trader.
Day trader.
A day trader.
I was like, I'm not Benedict Arnold.
I'm a faithful. I'm the most faithful.
That's what I thought too. I was like, I'm the most badassest, the dopest, the coolest, faithfulest faithful there ever was.
Can you imagine? Kalshi has hired the most unlikable man in the world.
It's the Michael Rappaport rap report.
Oh, dude.
Dude, that's my SNL audition.
Basically, pick what you think is going to happen in real life. I saw this one where everyone was choosing the same side.
Gambling.
Like,
you pick
That's
what's
just
going to
normal
happen.
gambling.
I found this. Okay, check this out, guys. Here's how I won $1,000 in Las Vegas. There's this little dice, right? It has 6 sides.
In real life.
And I bet what the number is going to land on. And I made $1,000. I'm not a trader. I'm a faithful.
I'm not getting paid for this.
And
this is
the
real.
crazy thing is, like, all you have to do is know what number it's going to land on every single time. And that's not that hard, guys. Like, I get it
6
right
numbers?
a lot, like at least 1 in 6 times.
I know like way more people than 6. I could name all of them. I could remember all the numbers.
Guys, I found this hack where I just flip this coin, and if it lands on heads, I make money. And if it lands on tail, anyway, you should check out Kalshi or Polymarket.
She said a friend of mine sent the app to her, right?
Yeah.
That's
A friend of mine named John Kalshi.
It's the weirdest
There's
thing.
just
It was a friend who said, sorry, I'm late 15 minutes, just doing some Kalshi trades. What's Kalshi?
Oh, here's a photo of my small dog, and also it's Brat Summer.
Is that Kashi, like the cereal? No, dumbass.
No, moron.
It's Kalshi.
just for the record, there's no such thing as a money hack. If you see someone saying, here's a money hack that you should use, they're lying.
Oh no, the one money hack is getting paid by Kalshi to do a fake ad.
Yeah, that is the real
true,
money hack.
actually.
That's a real hack. It's owning a betting website.
The money hack is stealing other people's labor.
Yeah. The true money hack
works.
is
Slavery.
I was gonna say what Elon Musk is doing.
I mean,
Well, he's South African.
was choosing the same side. Like the whole chart was green. I was like, okay, if everyone thinks this is happening, it's probably happening. So I just
That's
picked
true.
the same thing they did. I woke up this morning and it paid out. Why aren't you guys doing this? It felt stupidly easy.
Okay, so that's crazy. So they actually, this is crazy to me. They gave an example bet. The example bet was a 99% chance odds of something to happen. If there is the way that Kalshi works is that you are buying contracts for one side of the bet. So if 99 to 1 means that, like, essentially, I'm like simplifying this, but like 99% more people bought one side than the other side, which means your payout is fucking nothing.
Yes.
If it pays out. And
It's kind of like a no, that's not the right word.
gambling.
It's gambling.
Gumbling. But the thing is, and this happens, we talked about it earlier, if you want to get paid out on those 99% bets, then you have to spend a ton of money. And then there's if it's a 99 to 1% exactly, there is a 1 in 100 chance that you lose that giant sum of money.
There are not a lot of 99% consensus on anything, right? Like, it's such a crazy, because there's always going to be a contingent of people that are like, well, it's 60% people going with this thing, I'm going to go 40%. It's always going to, I just can't believe they actually showed the thing.
Yeah, you can take those bets, but you should like consult a quadratic calculator and look at like what the odds are of certain events happening. I swear to God, if more people looked at a calculator, I guess no. It's hard to do probability, like theory.
But analogies are helpful. And I think if we educated people with analogies more often and like compared the scale of, say, like people's perception of what $1 million to $1 billion is.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's just difficult for the human brain to comprehend. I mean, it took us like thousands and thousands of years to think of the number 0.
It took us thousands of years to come up with Kalshi, the new sports betting app where you can bet on anything.
Wait, I haven't heard about this. Where would I find such a thing?
Well, easy. You just go to your app store.
No, they're sucking an ad.
You go to your app store and then you fucking throw your phone in the trash.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
And then you download Polymarket, the real app where you can bet on anything.
Because you're a girl.
The YouTuber Benjamin, who lost all his money, was doing arbitrage across different prediction markets.
Oh man.
And like it was super duper in the weeds, like because like they don't always agree on the pricing of something, and so you can find like gaps in the market, and it's just like, don't do it, dude.
What better example could you have than the guy that everyone thought just got it completely screwing it up?
Yeah, it's like Michael Burry being like, hey, I'm bowing out of this because this market's crazy right now.
Me and my old roommate, he was much more dedicated and consistent with it, but he used to play blackjack online for like because the gambling rules in the UK and Europe, they're kind of flexible. Like there's like slot machines in pubs, right? Whatever he was doing was, at least at the time, eventually resulting in like a small profit. Like I'm talking like less than £100 a week.
If you have a 50.5% win rate or whatever, and you always make the same bet, like
and he was just doing that like very consistently. And I remember one day I asked him like, why aren't you doing that anymore? And he just said like, it's literally less money than the job I just got.
That's the thing. It's labor to do, like,
but it feels like you hacked it.
When they always say like, I did it from bed, blah, blah, blah. The people who are really about that life, or if you've ever like seen someone who does day trading and shit, they're the most anxious people in the world. They're always on their phones doing their things, or they're always on their computers, or they need to be looking at all the monitors at once. And then they still lose most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, no finance degree required is so irresponsible. Like, obviously,
suspicious. Why not?
Like, it's like, even if you had a finance thing, you can still be addicted to gambling. But this just feels like it's like pachinko parlors on your phone. Like, if you've ever seen a pachinko parlor where it's just like a bunch of old people like playing pachinko in unison, you're an expected value machine. Like, it's just going to happen. It's going to slowly seep you of all your money, because the way those things are set is to do exactly that.
Yeah.
So if you only continue to play, then you will lose your money. The only way to win is to get extremely lucky and walk away, or to not play, which is what I think everyone should choose to do, unless... Like, I actually, that's what I think everyone should choose to do. My stance on gambling is don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't heed my advice, you're an adult. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But that's my line.
I've known so many people who are addicted to gambling in Phoenix, and they spend all of their time at those casinos. And like, one of my high school friends, his mom lost everything, lost their house, lost everything, because she was addicted to gambling.
I mean, I've had family members get addicted to gambling, and then it becomes my problem.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have a personal vested interest in stop fucking gambling.
I think people treat, a lot of like behavioral addictions like they, everyone says,
it's a real
like,
addiction, by the way. They should be treated with actual care.
But they treat it, I think it's like when there's a chemical element involved, people, like literal physical imbibing, right? You can at least refer to personal experience. You'd be like, okay, well, when I drink, I feel a little better. So when alcoholics drink, which is also not correct, because it's not the high of drinking that alcoholics rely on. It is the addiction that they have to mitigate for the most part. But there isn't like I think the comparison for gambling is so tricky for people, because if you don't have like a predilection to get addicted to gambling, you literally, this is the way I am, I literally can't even conceive of wanting to do it after I lose.
Right.
When I lose, I go like, fuck this. I'm never even going close to this again. I've been to Vegas 2 times. Second time I didn't bet a penny because I got sad losing like $20 the first time. But if you are a gambling addict, you are literally, it's a different dialect, different phenotype. Your brain is so different that people can't relate. And it's just like, why would you do that?
Every time you get a little up from winning anything, there's neurologists who study this, because it literally is like rewiring your brain every time you get that little high.
We don't have the explanation of the solution. So unfortunately, the best solution we have is prohibiting this till
that's the
we
thing.
have
It's like
a
this
better
stuff,
thing.
it shouldn't be legal, and it's like it's legal through loopholes and not through intelligent design.
Yeah. There's a reason they keep saying trade. I can't believe it says trade NFL.
Trade NFL. Trade NFL NBA crypto tech.
Just trade it around.
Not complicated. It's legal in all 50 states. Just try it. Okay,
It's legal in all 50 states, by the way. Sounds like it wouldn't be, but no reason. Just
don't look into it.
Why would it be illegal? Trading's not illegal. What do you mean?
Trading sports, I'm trading on the call sheet culture market. Oscars for Best Actress, I saw Hamnet, cried. I would put everything I own on this on that company. There's Rotten Tomatoes, there's Best
Wait, it did not.
What was she betting on? Oh, that was Jessie Buckley.
Yeah, Jessie Buckley won.
Oh,
damn! Wow. Well, I gotta get.
Oh fuck!
I grabbed my Switch.
My kid's college fund.
Yeah, is this one where this aired before the Oscars? Because if it aired
Must have been, yeah.
Because if it aired after the Oscars, then wow, you picked everyone correct.
I was gonna say that shit as well, actually, come to think of it.
This feels targeted towards women, because it's like, again, like I don't want to bet on sports.
Ew,
But
scary.
movies, I know movies.
It feels like it's leveraging girl math.
Again, and I think it's a symptom of how patronizing people are when in positions of power, especially misogynistically, where it's like, look, this is ultra cynical, but women don't. They're too stupid. Yeah. They're not going to see that we're trying to trick them. It's jingly keys, but we'll make them pink, and they won't know. And it's like, no, human beings can smell the cynicism on this. It just depends whether or not you like get why it's bad in the first place.
Right.
Who's gonna win The Bachelorette season 22? There's so many options.
Is that the one that got canceled?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's awesome. That's so sick. Couldn't see that one coming, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
Where's the option on that?
Yeah, and then this is the type of thing where it gets canceled and Kalshi's protected.
Yeah.
Like Bachelor gets canceled, everyone no one is charged for their bets, but I don't know if you get charged a transaction fee or something like that.
Right.
Because you have to buy the contracts.
Right.
So I don't know how that part works.
Yeah,
and
maybe you have like an internal currency that remains or something.
There was, I can't remember if it was a lawsuit exactly, but some kind of kerfuffle because it was like Ayatollah will leave office by this date. And it's like, well, he was killed. He never left office. And so they were saying they weren't going to pay out. And everyone was like, but he's not in office anymore.
It's super duper not. Yeah, that's pretty locked down.
So I can't remember if it was like what kind of dispute it was.
Talk about insider trading.
Oh my God.
Like signing up for that one and then blowing someone up.
Yeah.
That's cheating for sure.
I mean, you guys have seen that there's like a lot of the ones that involve like Iran. Were like made
totally.
like 20 minutes before. Like, okay, fees are not charged when they cancel. However, you do pay to bid because you're buying a contract that, so basically it's like 99%, 1%, right? You buy a contract that is basically that if it's like a 50-50, right? A contract costs 50 cents. Right. On one way and then 50 cents on the other way. That way the math is really easy for how the payouts work. And so that's why arbitrage is possible, because it doesn't look like they handle fractions of a cent for the contracts. I could be wrong.
No, that makes sense. I mean, it's whatever works out the best, so I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the guess.
Yeah, just to wrap up, this one actually, I don't know if anyone actually saved the video, but this is a screenshot from a video that part of the lawsuit. This was one of the official like Kalshi page ads.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I guess.
POV, I was about to be unable to pay my rent, but I got 2 years of rent through Kalshi's predictions. It's amazing.
So who knows if it's like in the video, but like, let's just be clear for a second. Let's be the most generous and say this is in like one of the cheapest areas to live in the country. She is saying that she just won what, like 20 grand or something. I think it bothers me more just because it's so fucking sneaky.
Yeah.
To even say like rent, you know, that thing you're afraid of, like that thing you're constantly scared about, healthcare, that thing that brings so much stress. We can help you with that. It's not like now you can buy a PS5 or something recreational. It's like this will save your life. They don't even say this with like Robin Hood or something. Like Moo Moo doesn't advertise this kind of shit.
This
like,
is move fast and break things, move fast and loose. Like we
break
have all
people.
this. Move fast and break everyone's financial lives. Oh, the one thing I'll say is they have been taking action against insider trading recently, but like they will never take action against government insiders.
And like, how could they possibly take action about it? If it's every possible topic on everything about every.
Some like Mr. Beast employee got fined by Kalshi like some amount of money for insider trading, but they're running ads now. Can you
running ads on? Like in
the world.
Rule number 1, Kalshi bans insider trading. That's the first rule.
Because Kalshi is a federally regulated U.S. exchange.
A little secret there at the bottom. Because Kalshi is.
Yeah. That Mr. Beast one is about how some Mr. Beast guy got fined for insider trading.
These are very scary signs. Like,
not
very.
I've been seeing these around at like bus stops and stuff.
Rule number 5: we don't win when you lose. You know what the real answer is? Is that they win no matter what.
How could they not win? That doesn't make any sense.
So actually, that's a lie because they do win when you lose, but they also win when you win.
Yeah. Well, we don't win when you lose. That is like.
They should say we don't exclusively win when you lose, but that already, like we aren't the house. No, you are.
Yeah.
They don't win if no one wins somehow, if like everyone lost
They win
somehow.
by having a transaction fee on everyone's trades.
Wait, but
win or lose.
no, they said they don't win when you.
Okay.
Their marketing towards women appears to have been paying off. Women now make up 26% of Kalshi users, doubling from 13%.
10 months ago, Jesus. Wow, that's a gigantic jump.
I can see, like, I mean, we're being skeptical about like the actual content of the ads, but I do think just the noise works, right? Like, it doesn't matter the content of what you're saying, but if you just tell people, especially that rent one,
also,
I can see that being very impactful.
I feel like, you know, even the fact that if you have a very specific algorithm on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, maybe you've never even heard of Kalshi, and all of a sudden you're these women who look an awful lot like the women you follow.
Yeah.
Are now like, look at how easy this is. You could be like, all right, I'll give it a try.
I do think that trading a little on, I mean, even the color palette and some of the presentation, I think they are doing like a Robin Hood, Acorns kind of like, you know, especially when you're a kid, like you don't really know what, like, you know, savings is like an abstract and you know investment as an abstract, but it's more just like, that's like grown-up work. You wear a tie and you do grown-up work. I can totally see it being like, you know, what was Acorn's old thing? It's like they round up every dollar you spend or something, and then that goes in. I can see this being the like, look, we're just a bunch of kids. We're just young. Hey, you don't have to do that sell, Wolf of Wall Street stuff, but with that simple little system, maybe just invest a little bit.
Even a little guy like you can win big.
Just a little silly.
Oh, just a little guy.
And then it's like if like by rounding up, you were using Acorns, and it's like, oh no, we meant round up to $10 million. Oh, sorry, you didn't read the fine print. Oops.
Jordan, I do have a surprise for you, but there is a sequel to a movie that we both love dearly in our hearts.
No way.
Our hearts and our minds.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
And it involves a certain British individual.
Are you kidding me? Who does a flawless American accent?
Who does a flawless American accent with no flaws.
Are you kidding? He's keeping the peace?
He's protecting the queen.
Oh my goodness. He fucked up.
The Beekeeper 2.
Let's go. He's made of bees now. Following on from, he just kind of disappeared out the window, right? That was the end of his last.
Didn't he? Am I imagining this, or did he like dig up his getaway clothes and swim out into the ocean?
Yeah, he swam away.
You're right, like a bee.
Right, like bees do.
Yeah, you know how they love being dunked in water?
He got stuck in a bathtub.
So it's been a rough time, our economy and our government and unwanted wars. Thankfully, the Beekeeper 2 will follow the Beekeeper Society trying to overthrow the U.S. government.
The first part of what you said was in the synopsis?
No, that was me.
Oh, it sounded as expected. He'd overthrow the government with bees? I thought he killed them all.
It literally goes all the way up to the top.
But the president's left alive.
The president's left alive, and her fail son, who's like
that's right, yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg slash John Ralphio.
Yeah, it's Peter from the Hunger Games, right?
Yeah, it was Josh Hutcherson.
He's so good in it, by the way.
Yeah,
he's
great.
Awesome. He plays a fantastic Jared Kushner.
Yes.
Is he the one we just found out is from Stroud?
No, that's Josh O'Connor.
Oh,
too many Joshes.
We got a lot of little white guys. I'm sure.
So this last line. So there's a new line. And this is from Discussing Film. I'm gonna have you read.
The Beekeeper 2 will follow the Beekeeper. Right, makes sense. The Beekeeper Society trying to overthrow the U.S. government. Jason Statham.
Wait.
Jason Statham also now uses bees to heal his wounds.
Wait, what?
And I forgot to mention something. Oh, that's right. I've harnessed the power of bugs in the animal kingdom.
Like it says
the first movie does not have supernatural elements for those
also
wondering.
The character's name is not Jason Statham.
Offset.
I mean, but
Behind
it's
the
him
scenes.
though,
I'm
right?
like, his name is Adam Clay. What an
Oh my lord!
What a like scientifically engineered, like Tom Clancy.
That's like open square brackets name to be inserted later.
Yeah.
You will
Adam
never
Clay.
remember it. You just call him Jason Statham.
Wait, okay. The name of the game is come up with an ex-CIA operative name in a John Krasinski led
Clyde Slate.
Yeah. It's like I almost said Tom Riddle. What's wrong with my brain?
The Riddler.
Then I almost said Tom Scott.
Tom Scott is actually
my
pretty
brain
good.
is incapable of coming up with unique names. The guy who wrote the original one is like a old, like, because it was David Ayer.
Is David Ayer?
Yeah, and if you go to Kurt Wimmer, this guy wrote. If you scroll down.
I believe he write?
Yeah, this guy wrote
Law-Abiding Citizen.
Yeah, Law-Abiding
there
and
it is.
Equilibrium. He wrote
Yeah.
Equilibrium, but he's like 70.
So Kurt Wimmer is not only did he write Equilibrium, but they're in the behind the scenes for that movie is him extensively talking about how he created and practices the martial art of gun kata.
Oh God.
Like it's a real thing to him. He built it.
I guess this guy's producing Beekeeper 2, but he's not writing it.
But he's there.
Wow, he might be the most famous person from University of South Florida. I don't know any USF alums other than like athletes.
I'd never seen this type of grid, by the way. That is like,
these?
no.
I love these.
Producer, no.
It's like we're saving space because you're not famous enough to have a section for all of your like writer credits, your
But
producer
they
credits, your
do this
directorial
also
credits.
for like famous, like Martin Scorsese. Did he write this one or just direct it?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Or you see it also on award show pages for like what things won what awards.
I think if I could make a request, if I had
Point
credit
Break
like
too.
this, I would like a check mark for the yeses and then just a blank for the no's. As opposed to no.
But that's the Point Break remake.
Oh, you're right. It's 2015.
Yeah.
No Keanu.
With the no, how has there not been an Equilibrium remake?
It
Did it not-
can't be perfect. It's
Did
perfect.
it not do well in the box office?
It did fine, I believe. I just don't, because it's perfect. I mean, what would you change?
Exclamated. And
What's its exclamation?
it's exclamated money. How much money did it exclamate?
Wait. Oh, that's quite bad.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's really, really bad. For
What?
2002, what's...
Okay, now this movie had to make its money back on DVDs though. It was
must
in the
have.
right time for it, right?
Yeah, that's rough. So
Wow.
estimated budget of 20 million, which doesn't account for, a lot of people say double for budget.
I don't know what it was like in the early 2000s, but yeah.
But the film was shown only 301 theaters. It's all it needs. It's fine. 500 grand in its opening week, only 1.2 million when it closed. Total $4 million internationally,
and so 5.3 worldwide. But then again, this was a time when you could make money on DVDs, and we don't have the numbers on that. But this was a movie, by the way, with Christian Bale and freaking was it John Travolta? No.
Sean Bean is in it briefly, and then he gets shot through a book.
And Taye Diggs, not John Travolta. Why'd I say that?
Sean Bean gets shot through a book because it's a metaphor. Angus McFadden, can you click on him for a second? Oh, that is an insane
Wow,
photo.
how do you get that chosen
What
as
the
your photo?
hell?
It's him holding a gun, pointing it at you.
There's a moment in Equilibrium where he cuts Taye Diggs' whole face off, which is pretty funny.
What? I gotta watch that movie again.
It's so good. It's very Beekeeper-esque, frankly.
I was gonna say, I feel like I saw it in school.
Yeah, it's because it's basically
education,
a better version of George Orwell stuff.
It does have stuff. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it's kind of about like a surveillance state kind of thing, right?
I mean,
that never happened.
It's funny that you ask, Anastasia.
Don't look into the camera.
I would say that the tale of Cleric Preston is largely concerned with the surveillance state and the numbing of the emotional expectations of you and those around you, and the isolation of art and personal growth available. And it's also about standing in a circle and then little guns come out of your sleeves and you kill in the most optimal pattern possible. Which, of course, is how the clerics are trained.
This is all from your dissertation that you wrote, right?
It is funny to think of an era where Christian Bale was like, it's pre-Batman Begins, so his biggest role is American Psycho at that point. So I think this is like, it's big, but maybe
and he's filming
not a draw.
it like at American Psycho, that came out in 2001 or
90 something.
90 something.
Let's see.
Between 1990 and
2000.
Actually went to the year 3000.
Not much has changed.
Except for one huge change.
One huge change. One gigantic change.
What am I forgetting? It's
They
entirely aquatic.
lived underwater, yeah.
But anyway, your granddaughter?
Yeah, great-great-great-granddaughter, which is, by the way, not enough generations.
You're like, yeah, but so Atlantis is back, but your granddaughter's a babe.
What was that, Busted?
Yeah, Busted.
Busted, later covered by the Jonas Brothers.
I never knew about like the Jonas Brothers covering it, and then
I never knew about Busted.
Is the like Busted and I want McFly.
Oh,
those were the
McFly.
big British ones. I believe.
McFly had a big song. No, they had a song. Sorry, they had another song that was covered by the Jonas Brothers.
What was that one? Because McFly was very briefly big in the UK. I just don't remember what the song was. Was it 3000? Was it year 3000?
Year 3001, 3005, but the sequel by Donald Glover and Childish
Cousin
Gambino.
is so hot.
The Pit just wrapped up.
I gotta watch this show.
So it's good.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm in for a
That
penny, in for a
last
pound.
episode. Whoa.
Whoa!
They
Episode
fall-
before that, I cried. I wept a tear.
I
They fall
cried.
in the big pit.
Yeah, they finally fall in.
They
It's
gotta put
about
the
that-
hospital
it's about
somewhere
the
else.
mouse- It's based on the Mouse Rat song from Parks and Rec season 1. That was Andy.
Andy's fate.
His last name? I don't remember. His band. Chris
Dwyer?
Pratt's band in Dwyer.
Is it Dwyer?
Andy Dwyer.
Why do I know that?
He's annoying, right? No?
Yeah.
In
Chris
that
Pratt
show?
is
I
like
watched the new
Chris Pratt,
Mario
the guy.
movie.
Nowadays, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah. I was just checking. I was checking with these fellas.
Yeah.
So we don't like him, right?
Simulating having a relationship with culture. Who am I?
Did you hear there was a ruling, it's not finalized yet, where a bankruptcy lawyer for InfoWars, which is going bankrupt,
Right.
What happened?
they are telling
The deep state happened.
Oh no, it was the frogs or whatever.
not lawyer, the judge of that case
I'll be the judge of that.
is like,
Him, probably.
you have to pay $50 million to the families
Yes, of Sandy Hook victims.
of Sandy Hook victims because
Wasn't it even more than that, by the way?
well, I want to
It was
say
like
it's like
$1 billion
I
or
want to
something.
say it's like $50 million per family.
Yeah.
It was like a
And it's
bankrupting amount
only
of money.
that's only for families in Texas because
Yeah, wasn't it like a civil case and a local case or something like
there's
that?
like two different states where the case is going on
Yeah,
because
he was found liable for $1.4 billion in defamation judgments.
Which I don't even know if you can make that much on the supplements
well,
to make you red.
so the bankruptcy judge is trying to figure out how to get these families their money.
Right, and he's trying to hide his money as fast as possible.
And he also is trying not to
If I
sell.
eat the money, they can't take the money.
I'll sell
He
myself.
still wants control over InfoWars because
Right.
he's amassed this whole following.
Right.
Well, The Onion is like, we will rent InfoWars from you.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I refuse. I won't give The Onion anything. And then the judge said, hey, let's actually
Me when I'm
let the
cooking.
families decide. They're like, this is their money.
Yeah.
So there's an offer from someone who supports Alex Jones. And they think it's like a shell company of InfoWars, like someone who already owns InfoWars or whatever.
Like data
Information battles.
Yeah.
And it would be way more money. It was a big offer of money.
Right.
But the family said, we want The Onion to have
That's
it.
so cool.
So they let the families decide and they chose The Onion. Nothing's finalized yet, but there's a big New York Times article about it because they were like,
family
this
New
is
York
kind
Times.
of unprecedented that they let the families like, well, maybe it's not unprecedented,
It's like
but
the end of rap battles of history. You decide.
Who won?
the families could have,
Who buys?
like they chose the place offering less money as a like big fuck you. you
Yeah, I
know?
mean, it's like a classic Paramount trying to buy CBS Discovery or whatever. Or, Warner Discovery.
Warner
yeah.
Discovery. Yeah.
It is. It's a very like kind of like King Solomon, like ethical decision mode or something.
the owner of this child.
You must choose. By the way, terrible idea. Like cutting the kid in half. Bad
But that was his
idea.
trick, dude.
Yeah, I would have said that too. They chose the other option. I'd be like, that was, and it was
But
a
then
test.
what if they started cutting the kid in half?
And
What they didn't know is that it was two kids in a trench coat. Boom.
You ruined the coat.
Oh, it's like one of those magician tricks where there's a box and
Yeah,
they're
he
spinning
flips the
it around.
box around and he's like, it's actually two kids. Congrats, it's twins.
You thought it was one really long baby.
Thanks, everybody. We're going to head over to Sad Boyz Nightz, where we're going to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Also, we have a special announcement going on our Patreon free tier. You don't have to have a Patreon account to see that, but it's announcing something pretty cool that we're pretty excited about. So definitely check it out if you're interested.
We're going to be in full
Vibe
cosplay.
out. Nope, that's not happening.
Okay. Well, we could be.
Try again.
Jarvis will.
It will not.
All right, then. We'll agree to the word blood, I say.
We end every episode of Sad Boyz with a particular phrase.
We love you.
And we're roaring.
Bye-bye.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it.
Girl, too rich for me.